Welcome back to Andertons TV.
That was very
Danish
chilled, wasn't
Pete.
it? Yes,
Beautiful playing there, sir.
That was beautiful playing with you too. That was. It's all about the note. It's all about the note choice and how you feel when you touch the string. But before we do that, please like and subscribe. And if you want to just skip ahead in this video,
take long.
We put all of the timestamps in the description below. I know only 1% or maybe 0.1% of you read the description. I don't know why, but we always say look at the description so you can see all of. If you want to go to that guitar, that guitar, that guitar, that pedal, that pedal, that pedal, whatever. Thank you.
So
you're lovely.
A few days ago, up on my old YouTube feed comes a video of Paurie Smith getting the very first guitar that he ever made out of the PRS archives. Mm-hmm. It's a cool video. I'm sure it'll be easy for you to find on their channel. It was a guitar that he made for Peter Frampton, I believe, in 1976.
1976.
Which freaked me out a bit, because I'm sort of thinking, you know, that's nearly 50 years ago.
45 years ago. 46 years ago this year.
Isn't
I don't know how I know that, but yeah, that's...
But isn't that just like, you know, I think everybody, I still kind of almost feel like Paul's the new kid on the block. You know, it's like, you know, you got Gibson and Fender and Rickenbacker and Gretchen, and then but yeah, nearly 50. So that's crazy.
He was 20 years old when he made that guitar.
Yeah, and then in 1985, he got enough kind of momentum behind him and a little bit of financial backing, and he was able to open his first kind of proper guitar factory. And that's why when you see all of the anniversary models, they always talk about 1985 as being the origins. But yeah, 9 years before that, he's making a guitar for Peter Frampton. And to be honest with you, that original body shape hasn't changed a great deal.
Not much.
In the ensuing kind of 50 years. And it gave me an idea for a video to do, which we may have done in the past, but I just thought we should revisit, which is let's look at the three main kind of ranges of PRS guitars. Maybe range is the wrong word, but there's the Core range, which is their main kind of custom handmade sort of facility in Maryland. And I always think I pronounce Maryland wrong.
Maryland. I think it's Maryland, but
this is Core. Core make all the sort of the set neck guitars. You've got up from Core, you've got Wood Library, Private Stock, all that kind of stuff. But it's that facility, beautifully made, all the posh specs.
Yes.
Then there's S2. And S2 is still in Maryland, but it's a facility that was designed to maybe make a higher volume of guitars to achieve some more affordable pricing. So we're going to look at S2. That factory is, or that production line, 'cause it's all part of the same factory. That makes the S2 set necks, but it also makes all the bolt-on neck guitars, so your Silver Skies and CEs, stuff like that. And then is the SE range, which is the Far Eastern range, which actually is an older range. The SE range is nearly 20 years old now, which is bonkers, right? So actually, in terms of age, it's Core, then SE, then S2. In terms of price, it's SE, S2, Core. I didn't have, there aren't common colours between them. Well, there are. I've sort of, I haven't gone for 3 identical looking colours. Because you can't really do that, and I'll explain why shortly. But I thought we'd just sort of go through the specs. So
this is a great.
Where should we go? Should we go top down or bottom up?
Yeah, let's go top down.
You want to go top down?
Yes, let's do it.
So this is the Custom 24.
Yeah.
Okay, it has changed a little bit over the years, most notably probably in the pickups and the switching. So again, those of you that remember, you might have seen little mini toggle switches, or actually the 5-way was actually on a rotary pot for a while and all that kind of stuff.
Push-pull kind of thing instead,
But the basic guitar, the basic recipe of the guitar is a mahogany body with a beautiful maple top. Carved maple top. A set-in mahogany neck with a rosewood fingerboard. Interestingly, one of the things I think early doors that Paul chose to do was a scale length that sits kind of in between a Strat and a Les Paul. So it's 25-inch scaling, so a little bit longer than Les Paul, a little bit shorter than Strat. The 3-a-side headstock, angled back, and again slightly less angled than a Gibson, with the idea that the strings are going straight through the nut, so sort of trying to avoid that splayed kind of a string angle that you get on Gibson guitars over the nut.
Almost straight down, aren't they?
Not quite, but almost. A lot different to a Gibson.
Wonderful.
This has a trem system on it, and again, it's everything on a PRS guitar is proprietary to Paul. So they make all the guitars obviously in-house. They make all the pickups in-house, and then the hardware, so the machine heads and the trem systems are made. They're Paul's design, made in another American factory. It's a beautiful guitar.
It's wonderful.
Now we're just talking, on this particular video, we're just talking about the Custom 24. Obviously there are lots of other models in the range, but hopefully some of the features that we talk about will be common to any model.
Can I ask you a question before you go on?
Yes, of course you may.
When you say Custom 24, what does that mean?
It's 24 frets, and he just called it, that was his shape.
I know. I was trying to. If somebody out there was going, what does 24 stand for? It stands for 24 frets.
So soon after the Custom 24 was released, the Custom 22 came out. I, for a long time, never really understood what the point of having 2 less frets was, but it's actually so that you can move the neck pickup further away from the bridge pickup, so you get a slightly different tonality. And you can get hardtail versions of this, and
Perry played didn't have a Floyd Rose system.
Yes,
in there, if you want to watch that video on this.
So let's hear. So the modern version of this now. We got the 8515 pickups on here, which were the 30th anniversary. Basically reissue that Paul did. 8515s have been the pickup of choice on this guitar for some time now. I was going to say, interestingly, a couple of things that have changed about this guitar over the last 5 years or so, maybe a bit more than that now. So the Core Custom 24 now just has one neck choice on it. Every Core model now has a single neck choice on it. So it's pattern thin, on the Custom 24. You'll get different neck carves depending on if you do a 594 or whatever you go for.
Okay.
And if
So you can't choose anymore.
Only if you go private stock. So they've kind of gone. This is the neck profile that we think is most popular and most dual action truss rod. We can show the hardware, but this is a beautiful guitar. This is also now, and again another relatively recent change. This is a nitro over poly.
I can smell it.
Finish.
I can smell it. Oh,
that's it.
Smell of nitro.
Many times have I asked Paul what it is about the finishing that, why does he use the finishing that he does? And Paul doesn't like that kind of cracked aging that appears on vintage Fender and Gibson kind of guitars. Paul likes his guitars to stay as good as new looking for as long as possible.
His guitar says Fender.
So so he's chosen a slightly harder wearing finish than perhaps you might get on a vintage Fender or a vintage Gibson or a reissue of those guitars. But anyway, come on, I've waffled too much. Let's hear it.
Okay. That's lovely, isn't it? And so I got in the position 2 here. So what does that do then?
So yes, that's a great shout. So obviously on a 2 humbucker guitar, the one that you're probably most familiar with would be a Les Paul. And of course that would normally just have a 3-way switch. So full humbucker, both humbuckers, back humbucker. On the Paul Reed Smith, and I kind of feel almost like back in 1985, I almost feel like Paul's one of the first people to do this.
Yeah.
But the 5-way position is this pickup. Then the second one down is these 2 pickups. So it splits the coils and gives you almost like a Stratty sound here. Normal humbucker mode. Then we've got the outer coils again, so it's like a sort of almost like the neck and bridge pickup on a Strat. And then we got the back humbucker. So some great tones in there. So we'll have a listen.
So position 2. So that's it. But again, that's the split is always difficult. I think the best split sound, again, we say all the time, is Paul's guitar, the pickups in that one.
And this is never going to have the kind of snap that a bolt-on neck alder body guitar would have. It's always going to have that slightly richer.
Yeah. I've got so many frets here, I can play all the way up to...
Lovely guitar.
Yeah.
Locking tuners. Interesting locking ones as well. They're one of the only brands I know that lock from the top rather than lock from the back.
Because then you can get this lovely looking thing on the back, get the open geared.
I think, again, people probably don't appreciate that on, guitars like this, and PRS won't be the only brand that does this, that their timber procurement will not be... By the time you're into the Far East, timber is procured in huge bulk and with no real sense that anybody's kind of batch checking, like, oh, is this the one that's going to make a nice sounding guitar? And certainly when you're on things like PRS Core stuff, there is a guy whose job is timber procurement and to choose which bits he thinks are going to make the nicest sounding, nicest balanced guitars.
Nicest looking tops and all that stuff.
You can see again the staining is all done by hand. It's a really interesting that PRS stain the guitars in a way that really makes the flame pop.
Go and follow them on Instagram because
Yeah.
they do stuff from the factory, which looks amazing. You know,
that's probably the biggest sort of selection headache when you want to buy a core guitar is there's so many color choices and they all look amazing.
Yeah.
So
this is called is it that faded whale blue or something?
that one is, yep. But there's loads of colors. So that's beautiful. You got real abalone inlays there. Again, the bird inlay is a there's a whole beautiful story about something to do with his mum.
His mother was a bird watcher, and he started to watch birds. Now I do it in my garden. You know, we put up and we watch the little robins come in and eat the. Anyway.
Yeah. So that's the beautiful bird inlay, all laser cut, so they're super accurate. There's no kind of filler around the edges or anything like that. So it's a lovely guitar.
Yeah.
So that is the Custom 24. Now the Custom 24 again is
not cheap, is it?
Not cheap. Although Paul always said to me. He doesn't like accusations of his guitars being expensive. He just says to me...
it costs what they...
he just says to me, there's no such thing as a guitar that's too expensive. It's just you don't want it enough.
That's so true, isn't it? Because you just... Yeah.
It is what
save
it is.
The money.
Yeah, I guess depends how many sacrifices you're prepared to make. Anyway, look, so S2. We're going to... This is a kind of hybrid model because some of the stuff is from this guitar, some of the stuff is from this guitar. So first and foremost, I guess one of the most obvious things is the body carve is different.
Yeah, this bit here.
So it has what's called a beveled top rather than an arched top.
Yeah.
So you've got essentially the very top bit is flat on the S2, whereas it is carved and arched, on the Core. And what you have is this sort of carved edge, so this beveled edge.
That's why you see some of them with the scratch blade on, right? They didn't they do that thing with the
different shapes?
Yeah.
There are different shapes.
It's like that.
So again, we've got the same body shape, same scale length.
Yeah.
But this is where we get into sort of a mishmash right now. So we've got the pickups and the trem system are from the SE version. The tuners are an odd one, really. They are almost like a hybrid. So the tuners are locking tuners, but without the open gears on the back that you get on the... In fact, let me just show you what the... So from the front, they kind of look the same or pretty similar.
Yeah.
And then from the back, they look a little different, right? So they're enclosed on the S2 and open on the Core.
And also, this has not been set into the... It's not countersunk into the body.
However, it is still... it's a proper piece of maple on top of a mahogany body. Still a rosewood board. We've got slightly plainer inlays now. I'm not sure if these are clay or like a solid plastic or something like that, but you don't get the sort of the abalone effect on the inlays. But it is still American made, and it has the same finish that's on here.
Does it?
So the sort of the nitro over poly. So a same pattern thin neck, 10-inch radius, rosewood board. So it shouldn't feel hugely different than this one to play. I mentioned the pickups. These are, again, they're an 85-15 design pickup, but S, so i.e. for the SE version of it. So it'll be an offshore kind of wound pickup. And same as the S2, rather than a 5-way blade, we now have a 3-way blade and a coil tap. So actually, we have 6 kind of pickup positions on here.
Because you can push, you can have...
So... Anyway, Pete will have to do these. So it's not the same switching as this. So we're going humbucker, both humbuckers, back humbucker, or single coil, 2 single coils.
And one single coil. Okay,
again. Right. So it's kind of more but less. If more but different.
More but less, that's exactly the opposite of what Umi Mansplin says. Feels slightly darker, doesn't it? Just a little bit. Maybe it's me. No. Sorry.
I thought it sounded louder, like almost like they were slightly more driven. But
yeah, it's
we'll do a blindfoldy thing.
Snap.
At some point in this video.
Definitely pushing the front end a little bit more. So position in the middle position. And then then I put. See, I prefer that because I'm kind of trying to grab that and get your nail on it or whatever.
Interestingly, even though these are the same pickups as in here, they're the same knobs and pots that you get in here. So it's a real hybrid
okay.
of the two.
So let's see.
We're probably not.
Does it, John?
We probably should be more critical of, because that push-pull knob concept to switch is really common on, and it's a pain in the arse on everything.
It is. It's just
it's like a guitar knob is not really designed to be grabbed and lifted up, is it?
Especially if you're playing and you're sweating a bit, and then you
I prefer what Paul's done on the Paul's guitar, which is where the coil taps are all on their own switches.
And for each pickup, so you can have one split and the other one not.
But
that's really
but
good.
that's not, again, it's unfair to criticise PRS on that, because it's just most guitar manufacturers will use that.
Absolutely. But maybe they could put the rubber on there. These comes like rubberized, so.
Yep.
And hey. This sounds great, man, and it's lovely to play. I mean,
I think it's interesting. Again, they will inevitably choose all the sexiest tops to go on the Core stuff. The staining process that they use on Core pops the colours more. Yeah, I think the binding. Now, binding is an interesting one, because one of the things that certainly on the Custom 24
you can pick binding, right?
Well, it's binding on old Gibson guitars or on old, is a piece of plastic that is sort of molded around, cut into a channel and molded around the edge of the guitar and around the edge of the neck. Paul, I believe, was the first guy who did what's called reveal binding, which is where it looks like you've got binding on here, but actually what it's done is just very, very cleverly sprayed. So they mask off this section, spray it, and then take the masking tape off, which leaves a section of the wood. It's what's called reveal binding.
Look at that flame. So it's the flame that goes through the neck, so the top,
Really attractive way of doing binding. Now on S2, I think currently the whole range is only available in a wrap finish where there is no reveal binding. I might be wrong on that one, and I'm sure in the past colours have had binding, but at the moment you can kind of see. So when you step down to S2, I mean, it's about 50% cheaper to go S2 than it is to Core.
And that's certainly not cheap, is it?
It's certainly not 50% of the guitar.
No,
but you can see it's a kind of like, it is a hybrid, so you make some sort of compromises like that.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, so
in my opinion,
let's dive over to SE. SE, very closely guarded secret as to what SE stands for. So it's either, I think Carlos Santana once said, because Carlos, the very, very first SE was a Carlos Santana signature guitar, and he wanted it to be his student edition guitar. I think it's sort of, it's a much higher spec'd guitar than student edition would suggest. Yeah. So I think PRS have kind of, SE is special edition. It's like, it's just stuck. It doesn't really have a meaning. Anyway.
Okay.
So here we now have the same. So these now are made in Indonesia. Again, PRS about not that long ago, 3 years ago maybe, moved from having their guitars made by WMI in South Korea, where they'd had them made for a long time, to they went into some sort of pseudo partnership with Cortec Guitars in Indonesia, and they now have their own production facility within the Cortec facility in Indonesia. Again, they're very open and honest about what that looks like. There's a great video that went up on their channel earlier this year, which was a tour of that facility. Again, we've got this sort of not an identical carve to the S2, but it's the same kind of idea. It's the same sort of beveled top.
Slightly more, it's slightly more rounded off.
I would say there's a slightly bigger carve, a slightly steeper sort of radius, isn't there, on the S2?
But still a flat top.
Now this is, again, mahogany guitar with a maple top, but the flame effect is now from a veneer rather than from a solid piece of maple. We've got the rosewood fingerboard, we've got the same scale length.
Sorry.
Sorry?
No, it's very near to my heart. Veneer to my heart. Honestly,
Boo,
that joke.
tumbleweed.
Yeah.
We've got a rosewood fingerboard, which is kind of cool.
All right,
We've
okay,
got
okay.
regular tuners now.
Yeah, so no knocky on that.
Same, do you know what, bizarrely as well, the same truss rod is used
Lucky.
in all three guitars, the dual action truss rod.
Okay.
Different knobs and different pots now, so the pots don't feel quite as smooth as on the American ones, but still nice.
That feels alright to me, but they did feel different.
Yeah, 8515S pickups. So again, this is if you like, I mean, and these are unbelievably good value. So these are you know, sort of $7.99 kind of money.
That's crazy.
Again, lots of different colours, and they'll change those colours up every few months as well, which is kind of cool. I think the frets look a little skinnier on the SE to certainly to Core, but you can probably...
I don't know. I mean, it could be an optical illusion.
Oh, and a slightly different neck carb now. So this is the old PRS wide thin. So this is pattern thin.
Yeah.
This is wide thin, which was an old USA carb.
Was that wide here?
Yes.
It does feel slightly wide on my hand.
But I believe, and I will just double triple check this, I believe it's still a 10-inch radius. Yeah, so 10-inch radius.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
And again, just a little detail. So these are like an imitation abalone inlay. So from 5 yards away, hard to tell the difference, but when you get close up, you can sort of realise that it haven't quite got the sort of the natural deep of this one.
Yeah, but I almost prefer that to that.
Yeah, these are very plain, aren't they?
Yeah, because this has got a little bit of that kind of...
It's funny, but back again, I remember when I first started selling PRS guitars, which would have been 1990 kind of time.
Yeah.
And there was a real mixed bag around birds. I would say about half the guitars we used to sell, customers would just say, I just want dot inlays. They had a thing called moon inlays, sorry. I can't think in the last 10 years that we've even sold one dot inlay.
No.
It's like, it's a thing now. If you have a PRS, you want the birds on it. But anyway, let's have a little listen to this.
Let's have a listen. There we go. Wow, that's pokey. You thought I was going to play?
I was going... I did. I was about to sing.
Nice guitar. Nothing wrong with that at all.
So that, and I wonder if you can even tell from the shine. So this is a normal polyurethane finish.
Yeah.
So the most, I suppose, the most hard wearing but quickest and fastest to apply kind of gloss type of finish on that guitar. You still get the reveal binding if you want it, which is kind of cool. I think, again, it's another interesting, the reveal binding is often where you can see that the flame that you get on the veneer is not...
It's not the same?
The same as but it's still a maple top, so tonally speaking, it's doing all the right things.
I mean, it's wonderful. I love the binding on this, where you can see where the flames goes from here and then in, and then if you look down on that side, you can see the same flame going through. Yeah. But that's just a saga for details, isn't it?
So
this
there
is great
we are.
For the money.
That is your sort of... obviously we've gone into detail about the specifics on the Custom 24, but most of what I've said about finishing and hardware and that side of things, that'll be correct whatever you're looking at within the SE, S2 and the Core range.
Yeah.
So let's blindfold you.
Oh God.
Let's choose a guitar. I'm going to have to restrict you to only playing one pickup setting, because as soon as you start
pulling,
changing,
pushing,
you'll know which is which. So do you want to go neck humbucker?
Do we do a little slight gain on it this time? Just a little crunch,
If you
maybe?
want, yeah.
Let me just see what I can get. So we go on the bridge, you know. Okay, so let's go to Dane.
Okay, I'm going to put them all then on the bridge humbucker.
Yeah.
And I will let you, and you can use the tremolo arm.
Yeah,
but
they're actually the same, aren't they?
But you shouldn't. Yeah, you shouldn't really touch. Try not to touch the knobs or the pickup selector if you can force yourself not to. It's so difficult.
Okay,
isn't it?
well
Right.
let's.
Okay.
Yes, here we go.
So here we have the guitars.
Wait.
Oh,
I need to just make sure that I can't see anything.
so here we go. Guitars wise, now if this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. I want you all collectively to think of a number right now. You guys are amazing
here.
You guys are amazing. So, right, what are we? Let's just confuse Pete hugely by rattling lots of different guitars around a bit and just sort of showing him which one we're going to give him first and everything, and then I'll plug it in. And we said we'd just use bridge, didn't we? Bridge, humbucker. We're already there. There we go. Right, so in it comes. And I'll turn your tuner off for you.
In that
I'll be your
one.
footman.
It's on with a bit of gain now, right? Nice.
Would you like the neck pickup?
Yes,
if I
please,
change
yes,
it,
please.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
See.
That's really nice, this one.
Thank you. Thank you.
I mean, I know how to do. Oh,
I've got it. No, it's fine. You missed it. I don't know what you pressed.
Did I kick you though?
Okay, yeah, it's fine.
Oh.
So, okay, let's have another one. Which one's it gonna be?
That was really nice. I must admit, I like that.
Okie dokie. Okay, right. So we need to be in the bridge position first.
Yeah.
Okay, so no touchy. We're in the bridge position. In it comes. And your tuner is.
That's hotter. Can I have the Brits, please?
That was the bridge.
Oh, the next, sorry.
You finished with this one?
Yeah. Holy smokes.
Holy smokes, Batman.
Oh, man. You know, people need to try this for themselves with the blindfold, because once you can't see anything, when you can see, you hear different things and you feel different things. Oh God. Neck, please. It's really difficult, man.
Merci.
If I have to give my, it's so difficult, so difficult. But I think the first one was the Core, the second one was the S2, and the last, I think, was the.
Well, there you are, ladies and gentlemen. Proven that it is impossible to tell once you can't see, because you got the first two the wrong way around.
Wow!
So the first one you had was the S2, the second one you had was the Core, and the third one was the SE. So even what you didn't see as well was Oz, whilst we weren't, Oz, our cameraman, was saying, surely Pete will be able to, his arm will be able to feel whether he's playing the one with this versus the Carve, and I was like, I don't think you. Honestly,
your brain doesn't think about it.
No, your brain's going tone and feel, and it's like.
Yeah.
So there we are.
I am really.
I feel guilty now because I said prior that I thought this sounded hotter than this, and I think you agreed with me that. Yeah. But actually, when you played it back, it wasn't. This was the hotter one, and that's maybe what threw you. But
it did. That was exactly what threw me, because as soon as I got the other one, it sounded hot, and I thought that was the one. And you try to. It's your ears then, and you can't trust your ears, you know. Oh, obviously.
But I think again, so look,
because the feel of them are all really nice, and they all that has got lighter strings on it. I think it's got 9s on it.
It does tell you actually. I think on the swing tags, but I thought they were all 10s. But hey, you
that got one wrong now. There's 10s on here.
Yeah, I thought it might say on the does it say on there what they're 9s or 10s?
Nope.
Oh, it doesn't say. I thought they were all the same gauge of string, but hey, look, they're all basically with whatever strings they come with from PRS. So,
wow, I'm really surprised that I couldn't.
I don't know.
But they come out of the same factory, so you know, and it's the same neck.
It's the same neck carve and the same finishing process.
That neck does feel different. It feels more sharp, and not sharp in the sharp way, but it's not as rolled in the board.
It's definitely it noticeably feels slightly wider that way. Doesn't? I wouldn't say it feels. I mean, I think as soon as a neck is wider, it changes your whole perception of how deep a neck feels anyway.
I'm disappointed in myself.
No, do you know what? It's so weird, isn't it? Personally, I felt, especially on the neck pickup, that this had something about it. Well, now you'll go, oh yeah. No, but of course you can try it again.
No, I just want to hear the hotness in the pickups, you know.
I kind of feel. Look, I did want to say as well. There's an enormous amount of debate around. You know, different types of guitar finishes and what it contributes to the tone and all that kind of stuff.
And I couldn't smell it either. I was trying to smell and see if I could.
So just to be totally accurate for those sort of, you know, tone nerds out there, the S2 and the Core use a thing called a CAB base coat with a nitrocellulose top, and CAB stands for cellulose acetate butyrate. Which is basically an acrylic base coat. I'm not entirely sure that I'm technically, you know, well versed enough to explain what that means, but that is what's on the current.
Now I can
S2
feel it on here.
Core. So there we are.
Now I can feel that.
So I hope you found this useful. I know that these are slightly sort of longer kind of videos than, you know, hopefully people are going, I just need the 2-minute version of which one should I buy? And apologies that these are so long, but there you go.
That's why you click
three great guitars. You know what's interesting as well?
What?
In terms of popularity, SE is miles ahead because it's affordable.
Yeah.
Then Core, then S2, and I kind of feel that S2 sits in that sort of people don't really get it. They're like, well, why don't I just buy that? If it's got the same pickups, why don't I just buy this one? And if I want the bling, but actually, the fact that this came out as the one that you thought was the best sounding one, that I think sort of reinforces why S2 is worth a look. You know, it's killer value.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
So there you are. Right. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Links below to thousands of PRS guitars in stock at Andertons. Maybe not thousands.
At least 2.
Yeah. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.